Hello. Hola.
Here we are with LP. You know, she's a friend of the house. She's a friend of mine and also a friend of Elle magazine now, a year after her amazing cover last year. We're
Oh
back
yeah.
with LP. We're back with you in this Elle Working Club that, as you know, we try to speak about empowering the young people to pursue their dreams in the entertainment business and editorial. So we're
Yeah.
gonna start this beautiful chat with you. Welcome, LP. Thank you for having us. A little.
Thanks, Papa.
Cheers.
Mm.
Water.
Fucking hungover as fuck.
Awesome.
Mhm. Anyway,
So welcome.
so yeah,
How are you? How's LA
I'm
going?
cool. LA is cool, LA is funny, uh it's like always nice here, weather, like kind of like Mexico City, it's always nice out. So you kind of forget that like things could be bad. It's like it was interesting, like in the beginning of the pandemic, like last March. It was very interesting because it was like rainy season in LA. And so, this whole horrible thing was starting to happen in the world, and it was raining every day. And I think it was really a mind fuck, because it's always beautiful here, always sunny, always perfect. And suddenly it was raining every day. And it was like almost like like the world was like, oh, it's bad, it's wild.
Actually, we were together during that week. Remember?
Yeah, right?
The complete
Yes, that
lockdown.
was the shoot.
Yeah.
Yes. The photo shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Photo
Yeah,
shoot
I remember. Yeah.
in the middle of the like global emergency. Like that
Yeah.
was my last gig before lockdowns.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, right? And it was like I remember like it was just so weird, I just found out that like my entire year of touring was gone, basically. And I was like, and it's like, and then I'm like posing for fucking pictures, like kind of like, you know.
But I gotta say it's like we're all challenged in that way
Yeah.
that there. I mean, we have to keep on going. Like that day, I remember we were like we're already here. Trump was
Yeah.
telling in national television like this is a national emergency just right before the photos. and
Yeah.
and at the same time it was like we have to get do our best in this matter, like we were already there
Yeah.
with everything produced.
Yeah.
The looks were cool.
That looks really good. I was like, oh God. Yeah. I mean, I think that, we're talking about like to young people, like, and about work and all that stuff. And, I think that like, I think everybody thinks that, or they'd like to think that, when you do something, when you do your passion for a living, that everything's perfect, and it's like, if you're like, and if you make it, if you're like, successful, then like, you always want to, oh, like it's easy. It's so difficult. Like even making your passion, your work is a very difficult thing because it becomes work and it becomes, something that you have to, excuse me, that you have to, you know, do even when you don't feel like doing it. You know what I mean? Like I love to sing. I love to write songs, but I don't like, I'm not like ready to do it all the time. And when I have to do it, on command, then it's difficult sometimes, and it becomes like, a job, like everything. And it's like, that's the kind of like, that's the challenge, I think, in when you are an artist, is to understand that like it's still work and it's going to continue to be work, and then and you don't like, if you have a hit song and you get a bunch of fans, everybody wants another hit song or another great song from you. It's not like kind of like, it's not, it doesn't just like happen itself, So it's like, I think, we're going into this, like what you're saying, we're going to this like pandemic, and we had a photo shoot, and it was like, you know, suddenly everyone's wearing masks. It was the first time everyone, you know, the people wearing masks, and you're like, ugh, this is horrible. Like, what the fuck? I know, like, I'm not inspired. I didn't feel like it's not sexy. You know, you're like, looks sexy. Like, I'm like, that shit is not sexy at all. But you have to do it because it's like, you know, they paid a lot of, you know, people, and then it's like going to be used, you know, and we use these shots all the time. But the fact that they were made, you know, on a day that everyone was so sad is, you know, that's life. That's art. That's work, you know.
Exactly.
And going a little bit back to before pandemic, like way back, like going to your beginnings,
Way back.
Like
way back.
What do you think is what made the difference when you noticed that you were starting to become what you're now? You know, like what was the time when you stopped and said like, hey, this is happening?
Yeah. Oh man, I think it was like literally on stage. You know, it's like I was starting to play. Yeah, you know, because I've been playing to like, you know, I had a long climb, you know, and I, you know, as a writer for years and all this stuff, and you know, I had like people coming to see me, but then, you know, once it gets like, I mean, once it gets past 500 people, it's a lot, but like, you know, when you're sitting there in front of like, you know, 2,000 to 5,000 people, it's like, and the people are singing, and like, I'm just like, wow. You know, like I remember like I was like, it was nice. Like I always say this, but like I feel like it happened at the perfect time for me because I'm able to appreciate it so deeply, you know, and really understand what a gift, how lucky I am, you know. Whereas I think sometimes if it happens too fast, you can't. It's, you know, it's not like you're a bad person because you're not, you know, but you don't, you know, it's like someone just giving you stuff and you're like, oh great, yeah, this is my life. You know. But when you know how it, the other side of it, how it could not happen, you get that kind of, you can really appreciate it. And I remember like being on stage and feeling this like holy shit, this is like going on. And I'd be like, I felt this like deep like sense of like responsibility, you know, because it's like a person like that loves your music, they just want more of your music, you know. It's like I was a huge fan of Jeff Buckley, one of my that he's like I'm like an fan, you know what I mean. I'll go to a show once in a while and stuff like that, but I like, you know, but Jeff Buckley was like, you know, my favorite artist. And when he died, and they put out a record after he died that was like his demos and shit, and I remember holding that record in my hand and being like, holy fuck, man, I'm never going, this is it. This is the last music of this brilliant artist that I love. Like that's it. And it's so, you know, and so when I see people that like my music, I just feel like I need to like keep putting music out, you know, keep making music. It's like my responsibility in a way, you know. And that's what I felt like, you know, I felt like that successful thing, like, yes, I'm making it. And then, yes, I have to keep going kind of. It happened all at the same time. It's nice.
LP, and before that, I mean, you are so talented and you wrote lyrics for, you know, Cher, Rihanna, the Backstreet Boys, and awesome. And you just released an awesome single in November.
Yeah.
And before that, did you suffer any rejection? Like,
oh yeah, I mean, all the time, you know, like, I mean, and but you know, it's interesting because I had so much rejection, but I had so much, you know, I had I've had like 7 record deals in the US, like many different levels. Like I had 3 indie deals, like, you know, small labels, and 4 like major label, big, crazy, everyone's like behind, you know, like a lot of pressure and all that stuff. And, you know, I feel like I was able to see, there was so many times, because like it's interesting when, like, you know, before you make it or whatever, and you're trying to make it, you have to make plans for making it. It's almost like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have signed contracts or whatever, but when you sign a contract, you know, they give you all this money and you promise them all this money. Like, you know, like everything is broken down. Like it's like signing your life away for money that you haven't made yet, you know? And, you know, it's a big deal. It's like it's like the music business is one of the biggest businesses in the world. It's one of the most like glamorous, you know, like things. And people don't just fucking give you money for no reason. I mean, some, you know, some do, but like, you know, it's like, but still, even like the percentage of people that even get record deals is very small, you know? So, but when they come to you and they're like, you know, you're going to be this, you need to be this, you know, like always, like people are always, I could see it now, like looking back, because I could see how what's happening to me now, what's been happening to me now, people saw it, like business people saw it, like, I feel like this person has this in them, you know, but how do I get them to there, you know? And it was very kind of, there's a lot of pressure, you know, because you're like, they're trying to like shape you. And I'm not like, you know, clearly I'm not like, you know, I'm not the person who can be shaped. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, you know, like good luck.
You want to change your looks or your style in order to be like more relatable to some audience.
You know, no, it's difficult, you know, and I think, but they're always, you know, what they want is they want you to like become this thing. But sometimes it's not the on the timeline, you know, like they'll be like, do it right now, like become this thing in 2 seconds, you know? And it was, you know, there were so many times that like, I could feel like, I was like, oh man, shit's starting to happen. Like you were saying, like, you know, and not the like, oh, it's happened. It's, you know, but I was like, I could feel like the like kind of thing. And then I swear to God, I could feel that second that it went, like all of a sudden someone gets fired, like from the label, like, you know, like someone, you know, an A&R person, and you could feel like people stop believing in you, you know? It's like, perfect example when I tell the story about, so I was on Warner Brothers, you know, I had that record Forever for Now with this song called Into the Wild and all these songs. And when I first signed there, everybody was so excited, you know, like I had a live EP that everybody freaked the fuck out about. And, you know, and then the main guy at the label, the chairman, and also a huge producer, like Grammy Award winning, produced all the Green Day records, you know, fucking, you know, like, what's that fucking record? I'm trying to think of My Chemical Romance, like, you know, like big stuff, not my kind of stuff. That was the problem. But he was just like, I'm gonna, you know, this chick is fucking dope. Let me concentrate on this. But he like grabbed it and he took too long, and everybody in the label, it's like took 2 years. Like the record should have come out like 6 months after I got signed. It took 2 years, and then everybody got fired. You know, all the people that cared about me were gone. And then they barely put the record out. And then they said, hey, come in. And, you know, all the new people were like, yeah, what are you doing again? Let me see what you're doing. You know, I played them Lost on You. I played them a song called Strange and Muddy Waters. I played them those 3 songs, and they're like, yeah, nah, I don't, it's good, but okay, bye. They let me go from the label. You know, this is the story, you know, we talk about like young people paying attention to like what happens. This is the story I most want people to hear, because the fact that I could play a label that I'm already on, I owe them $1.6 million. They put that much money into me, and I play them the biggest song of my life, and they're like, bye. They let me go. And when you get dropped from a label, you don't owe them any money. That money goes away. Like you don't owe them. It's not like, because if you get fired, then you don't owe it, you know? So these idiots fucking fire me before like my biggest song. And it just goes to show you
Exactly.
that it's very, you know, tenuous or whatever, you know, like where like you don't know what the fuck, you know, you're gonna make it, like, or you're not gonna make it, and it could be just some guy that's like, yeah, I don't get it.
No.
Just one fucking guy.
Yes.
Doesn't get it, and you're gone, you know. And he actually saved my life, because then I was able to like go on a different label and not have that debt and all that stuff. But that's like, these are the things that happen. And like, yes, I could, it was very difficult to like feel shit slipping away, you know. But again, I was talking about my perspective and my appreciation from how what I do have is because I know it could all fucking go away like that, you know.
What do you know now that you wish that you will knew at the beginning of your career, like when you started making music?
So many things, but I think just that one of the major two major things that I felt like were like kind of an epiphany for me as an artist. One was not to force things, you know, like not to like, you know, like it, you know, whether it be like especially with things that you want, like, you know, oh, I gotta make it, you know, by next year, or like I gotta like you know, I have to get this record deal with this, like, you know, just trying to like psychically push too hard for things to happen, you know. It because I think it stops the flow of what is like what's going to happen, you know. Like you need to leave things a little loose so that like you can receive them, you know. Like if you're pushing too hard, it's almost like you're changing the future if you do it, you know. It's a American movie, obviously, Back to the Future, but I feel like a lot of people have seen it. You know, when he goes into the future and he starts fucking with like everything, and his siblings start to disappear in the photo. You know, like so like the past gets altered because he's doing shit in the future. I feel like that's your life sometimes. I feel like you're not allowing what needs to happen, and so like you're destroying like the possibilities almost when you like try to like wrestle it to the ground, you know. You have to like kind of be more like let things happen to you, you know. And I feel like, you know, I was always trying to like fucking you know, be like, I gotta get this, I gotta do this, you know. And when I stopped doing that, things like went. And also one of the most freeing things, just as a writer, as a songwriter, as an artist, for me was stop not putting pressure on songs. You know, like I would write a song so many times, you know, and I'd be like, yo, this is the one that's gonna like fucking get me going, like, you know. And I send it to your managers, be like, is this the one? Is this one? Is this one? You know, like kind of feeling all the time like that. And it goes back to what I was saying about like, you know, if you have a hit song, all anybody ever wants is another hit song. So it goes back to that, where it's like, you know, when Lost on You became a hit, I had already written like almost 30 to 40 more songs. I wasn't even thinking about it. Like I wasn't like, I hope that Lost it. You know, like I had no idea. I was like, oh shit, really? Wow. You know, like how cool, you know? And so I think that's the artist things. It's like you know, if you're a painter, no painter ever is like, I'm a painter. This is my painting, my one painting. They don't have one painting. You know what I mean? Like you'll never be a famous painter if there's like one fucking painting. I mean, maybe that's your most famous painting, but there's like fucking 1,000 paintings that were like not, you know, you're always painting. It's like that's what art, that's what it is, you know. And when I realized that, like, you know, that even if I wrote the song of my life that day, that I still had to keep writing songs, it just made me free. And I didn't put any pressure on like the work, you know. I just made them and left, you know, and kept going. So those two things were like my thing.
It's funny that you say that about Lost on You, because you know, you said one time, I remember, like it was already a hit with my friends in Mexico, and I thought,
yeah,
it would be
like I was getting videos from you guys, like literally. Well, I mean, I was getting videos actually a year before it hit in the world, but like, you know, 3 or 4 years before it hit in Mexico. Like, you know, like you know, I still have like visions of Alexia Ulibarri like fucking dancing in Renato's living room, you know, to the song, and it's like, wow, it's so fun to think about, you know. And that song, you know, when I got dropped from Warner Brothers, you know, I got signed a little bit later to like another label, but my managers like told me actually very recently that they were like, that, you know, Rihanna's people were actually looking at Lost on You. They were like interested in the song, you know, and just for a specific timing, you know, who the fuck knows? Like my life would be totally different, you know, because that would have been like, yeah, maybe a hit or a blip for me as a writer with Rihanna, but then that's it, you know. I'd be off writing for other people more and more, you know. But I was just, again, that's like this, you know, this very specific luck, you know, like holy shit, like I got to sing that song. And you know, I think part of the appeal of that song was not just the song, was that when people heard that song, they didn't ever think that I was gonna look like this. They were like, you know, then you go, you know what I bet she looks like? You know, like, it's like, oh hell no. So it was like this like 1-2 punch of like, holy fuck, I love this song, and that's the fucking chick who sings it, you know, like whoa, crazy. Yeah, like, so I think it was like, you know, an extra added, you know, thing, you know.
LP and Back to the Future now.
Yeah, exactly.
The success you have and this, you know, full stadiums, and you have such a crazy fan base. How do you manage to stay centered, to keep it real, you know, to stay grounded?
I mean, just that, you know, it's like there's always people, for one, that are bigger, you know, like are more like and more talented, better, you know. That's like, you know, one thing, but it's also that it's just again, you know, I keep going through this, but it's a responsibility, you know. Like I feel like it's mostly about like, you know, connection and humanity. Like, you know, like I feel very I think you can tell if you're like a fan of mine or know me, like I really enjoy people, and I really want people to be happy, and not, you know, I want them to be happy in all the ways, not just because when they hear my music, whatever. If I could be any help as far as like getting someone through a day, I'm just so honored, you know, and like, and I feel like that's like just people and the fact that it's like the fact that someone would buy your music, come to a show, wait in line to see, you know, I take that very seriously. Like I'm like, that is, you could, especially in the world, not this year, obviously, but in the world, you know, you could do whatever the fuck you want all day long. You know, there's 1,000 things, especially, you know, with how the world is now at your fingertips. You're just like, I want to go here, I want to go there. The fact that people would come to see me, would listen to me, that's like very humbling to me, and that's what keeps me like, you know, I mean, that's what it is, you know. It's like, yeah, it's really cool to walk in a room and people recognize you. I mean, listen, I mean, I'm not saying that that's not amazing. It's amazing to be acknowledged for what you do, is fucking dope. I mean, I would recommend it to anybody, you know. It's like, yeah, you know, like I'm not gonna say it's not good. It's like, holy shit, that's nice, you know. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's, you know, it's also about continuing to like be worthy of that gaze, you know, of that person, to like, you know, to say like, oh, that's so and so because they did this, and they keep doing that, you know. I just want to be, I want to be that person. Like, I want to be like heroes of mine, like David Bowie and Leonard Cohen, where like they put out a record like unbelievable, like as good as their old records, like right before they died, you know. I mean, holy shit, like that's the goal. And like, and you know, you can't do that if you get up your own ass, you know. You gotta like remember that, like, it's, you know, back to the beginning of what we said, it's a job, you know, it's your job. So, and it's the most incredible job, you know. And so I understand that I'm very, very, very fucking lucky. So that's what keeps me going.
Yes.
You're the coolest girl.
You're lucky. We're lucky to have your music. It's such a unique sound, and it's different. And you have this energy on stage. It's awesome.
She came to your concerts here in Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah. They were so fun. Like, wow, you know, I got to sing with Jimena. That was so amazing. And, you know, it's, it was very cool. And I mean, speaking of like, my, there was all these fans outside every night, and I had to go passing back and forth. And I remember it was late at night after each show, and there'd be like, I don't know, a couple hundred people out there, and and it was a neighborhood, like people are sleeping kind of like that. So like, everybody, can you please be quiet? Like, and it was just like all these people like very quiet, giving me stuff to sign, taking pictures, but like totally silent. It's just like so, like I don't know. I just, Raul knows. I mean, I've had a love affair with Mexico and Mexican people for years and years and years, and it's just I love it. It's just like I just feel like when I'm in Mexico, I just think that Mexican people have the heart that I like connect to, where it's like, they care about, like, it's like almost like this very reciprocal kind of thing, like when you give them good energy, you smile and then they give it back. There's no, and that's all they need. They don't, you don't like, they're not trying to, they don't want anything else from you, just like a good feeling back. It's like there's no like kind of like ulterior motive, or they don't have an agenda. It's just like goodness. I don't know, and I always feel that there. Like I really see it, and I love it.
Amazing. And
we love you back.
we love
Yeah,
it. and talking about the present a little, like you just released How Low Can You Go, which I've heard is your sexy song.
Is it though? Yeah. I have another one coming up. I'm working on one right now that's even sexier.
Where can we expect the whole new album? Like, what's in the future for LP?
March, April is when it's coming out. I've been working on it all year. It's been nice. Like, the one cool thing has been like I've been home and able to work on it and even write more songs. Like, like I think this song that I'm talking about, that's like, I don't know if it's the next single, but I think it'll be a single. But, I probably never would have written that song if I wasn't home this whole year. There's a few songs, but like this one in particular, I feel like is nice to remind myself that, like, everything happens for a reason, and you're in certain places for a reason. But yeah, the album's going to come out kind of March, April probably, and hopefully we're getting back to touring and all kinds of stuff by spring.
Amazing.
Summer.
I can wait. I can wait to listen the whole thing. We should do a listening party.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think I can't say it just yet, but I did find out about a very cool gig end of next year in Mexico that I'm probably doing. So
yes, please.
I'll be back. I'm coming back.
And yeah. I would say to close this beautiful chat with you, like what would you say right now in these difficult times to your young followers and young people working and trying to make themselves a space in the industry or in whatever they love to do? What would be a message for them?
I think the biggest thing for me would be work, like output. Like, you want to be a musician, you want to be a songwriter, write songs. And again, like we were talking about, like, let them go. I found for myself as a writer that I found myself through songs. Like the more songs I wrote, even like, I think that was like what happened even, because as you know, I was like an artist trying to make it as an artist, had a couple of record deals. And then I thought that part of my life was over and I was just going to write songs for other people. So I really went at it like 2 sessions a day, constant writing. And somehow in that whole thing, I came back around to being an artist myself. And I think it was because I just explored so hard, like, and I wrote all different kinds of songs. Like, like I never dreamed I'd write a song for Rihanna, when I was an artist. Like that's like, but I tried. I started to hang out with like producers that did that kind of music and writers that did that kind of music. And I just like, because I was like, I need to I need to write in as many genres as possible in order to like kind of to get better, you know. And I think also from writing in so many genres, that's why when people hear my music, they're like, what genre is it? I don't really know. Like, I don't try to be like, you can't classify it. It's so amazing. You know, like it's like, you know, it's not like, oh, it's so amazing. But I think it's all over the place. Yeah, you can't like, because I think that was hard for me to make it in that way, you know, in a way, because I look like a certain thing. Like everyone thinks I'm gonna like, I mean, especially today, I'm gonna be singing AC/DC songs, like, you know, like, I'm like, but like I don't sing that way at all. Like you can't like, and I think, but I discovered myself or like kind of exposed myself like almost like a sculptor through like songs, and it like chiseled away like, you know, the things I didn't need and the things I did need, you know. And so now, you know, hopefully I'm looking like, you know, like the David, or at least the penis part of the David, you know, like, I'm just kidding. Anyway. Hi. Yeah, no, I mean, oh, it looks very small. He's like, but anyway. But yeah, you know, I just had to like keep working, keep doing what you need to do. Like, you know, like in fashion, Raul, you've been like, you know, you're an example. Like you just keep working and doing more and more, and it just starts to like, you know, become like, you know, there's a Socrates quote that says, "Be as you wish to seem," you know. Exactly. Like, you know, just be who the fuck like you want to be. Like, you know, like you want to be a rock star, act like a fucking rock star. But know that it's like, it's not just like, you know, doing drugs and like, you know, laying around looking cool. It's like fucking writing songs. Like Keith Richards, who's the biggest, Keith Richards, who's the biggest partier of all time, who wrote records like shooting up and made like quintessential, like amazing works of art. You know, I mean, he still worked all the time. You know, he looked cool as fuck doing it, but he was working. So just work, you know.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having us. I know you're gonna play us a couple of songs.
I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I love ELLE Mexico. I love you both, and thank you so much. I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you again soon. Raul, call me, baby. Okay.